I just uploaded a new video where I talked about Tamron Hall sharing some pretty personal stuff in a sneak peek. She mentioned that she felt blocked by the family after hosting the Sister Wives tell-alls for 4 seasons. It was really tough for her, especially since she got close to the kids. Now, the 3 parts of the reunion have been uploaded on Tamron's YouTube channel, and honestly, it was quite emotional to watch them come together again. You could see how much it affected Tamron. She was clearly still grappling with her feelings about being let go. It was evident that she felt cut off, despite being told it was time to move on. She described how they would film for 2 to 3 days straight from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., and she did that for 4 seasons. That's a lot of time to get to know someone. Throughout that time, she mentioned how much she really loved Mary. Now, I know that fans of the show have mixed feelings about Mary. Some love her while others are more into Christine or Janelle. But hearing Tamron talk about her respect for Mary really struck a chord with me. It reminded me of a conversation I had years ago with an advocate who worked with Mary. Not in a professional sense, but they did some projects together. When I asked her about the 3 or 4 wives, she was very candid about who she found to be the most genuine. It seems like the most relatable ones were Mary and Janelle, while Christine and Robin didn't quite get the same love. People were really surprised by how down-to-earth Mary was. She was open and honest about the struggles in her marriage, not holding anything back. It's tough for some viewers because Christine comes off as bubbly and funny on the show, but that doesn't always reflect reality. Mary's standoffishness made some viewers think she was unfriendly, but in truth she was dealing with a lot of emotional and psychological challenges, including being shunned and facing abuse, all while being Kody's legal wife. During an interview, I was taken aback by Tamron's clear feelings about Kody and Robin. She seemed pretty indifferent towards the others. She mentioned, "I always had respect for Mary. I always wanted her back. I always wanted to talk to her." It's pretty clear she wouldn't be keen on chatting with Robin or Kody. When she asked Mary about her relationships with the other sister wives, instead of diving into how things were with Janelle or Christine, since they didn't really interact much, she cut straight to the chase. "What's your relationship like with Robin?" Then Mary shared some insights about what she observed on set, which I think is really telling. I didn't notice it at first, but she pointed out the tension she sensed between Mary and Robin, while there didn't seem to be any issues with Mary and the others. So let me ask you this. What's your relationship like with Robin? Because honestly, on set it felt like the most tension was between you two. After all, you were his first wife. I definitely felt that. And when I brought up certain topics, I noticed you would glance at Kody, who always seemed to be like, me. So was I off base with that? No, you're not off base at all.
I felt that the most tension was between you and Robin. You were his first wife.
Really?
I did. Okay. I felt like when I asked about certain things, you would look at Kody and then she was always, So was I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
What is your relationship like now with Robin?
We talk when we need to. You're gonna see a little bit of those conversations.
You know, a couple of months back, I stumbled upon some old articles from around the time Kody and Mary's divorce was happening. There were all these rumors floating around from people who knew the family, suggesting that Robin really disliked Mary. Apparently, she even called her some pretty harsh names and felt fed up with being in Mary's shadow. It seems she gave Kody an ultimatum. He could either choose to divorce Mary and marry her, or she would walk away. There were also text messages exchanged between her and a friend where she referred to Mary in a derogatory way. Plus, she mentioned that Mary didn't deserve to have more than one child because, in her eyes, she was such a terrible person. On the show, they had to act like they were all buddy-buddy, but as Tamron pointed out, she spent long hours on set with them, like 12 to 13 hours a day for 4 seasons. So she probably spent a good week's worth of time with them. Interestingly, her take wasn't that Mary had a rocky relationship with Christine or Janelle. Instead, she noticed that the real tension was within the marriage itself. The dynamics of Mary's relationships, especially with Robin, were quite telling. I could always sense that Mary had to navigate her connection with Robin just to maintain her relationship with Kody. It was like she had to keep Robin close to even have a chance to connect with Kody, even though she didn't really want that relationship. The way she described it was interesting. She mentioned being on set and asking a question, only to see Robin hovering over Kody. It was as if she had to look to them for guidance on what to say, almost like they were dictating her narrative. They were shaping her voice, telling her how to feel and what to think. When it came to discussing her divorce from Kody, I found it intriguing. Tamron asked her about it, and it was clear that Mary had seen them after their legal divorce, yet they were still claiming to be together in some way. It was a bit confusing, right? Tamron wanted to know what was tougher for Mary, the legal divorce or the spiritual one. Mary's response was surprising. She said she was shocked, which was quite different from what she had shared on the show. On the show, she explained that since both their legal and spiritual marriages ended simultaneously, the legal divorce felt like it severed both ties, making it harder for her. But when she spoke to Tamron, she revealed that the legal divorce was actually more difficult because she didn't want it to happen at all. Divorcing Kody was a huge blow for her, and it really backs up what we've been saying all along. Kody and Robin pressured Mary into that divorce. Then they spun a narrative that she was doing it for the kids, which is kind of what Tamron was hinting at. It was like you had to read between the lines to understand what was really going on. Tamron even mentioned, "I always kind of felt like you were speaking to me in code." Mary shared that when she was with the family, there was a lot of coded language going on because she was scared about what she could or couldn't say. Now, she doesn't have to worry about that as much, but she's still bound by a contract, so there are things she can't fully express, which is understandably frustrating. She kept saying, "You have to watch that. You have to wait and see. But I'll show you this other part too."
Right now.
It's pretty non-existent. To be honest with you, I'm dealing with a lot of grief, not over the marriage, actually dealing with grief over the fact that our divorce couldn't even be what I was hoping our divorce could be.
What did you hope it would be?
That we could be kind to each other.
Is he unkind to you?
Yep.
Mary and Kody's relationship took a turn when he made a comment about her being his favorite ex-wife. He expressed a desire to avoid an ugly divorce and hoped they could remain friends. When she left, it was clear they weren't bitter enemies. Mary just didn't want to be with him romantically anymore. I think she genuinely believed they could maintain a friendly relationship. However, it seems Kody struggles to be kind to anyone he's not romantically involved with. What's tough for each of these women is that they observe how Kody treats the others. They see him being unkind to Janelle or mistreating Christine, and they might think, well, she's not being nice to him either, or her behavior is causing these issues. But the reality is it's not about what they say or do. It's more about Kody's inability to be nice to anyone. So for Robin, who is still with Kody, that's going to be her experience too. It's surprising that after all these years, they still haven't had those light bulb moments. You know, it's really striking how she's admitting that during her marriage she wasn't allowed to feel anything, like not even jealousy. Now that she's processing everything that's happened, it's clear she's finally allowing herself to feel. It's almost ironic, especially after he put on that big show about walking her down the aisle and professing his love. It all feels so staged, doesn't it? What I found particularly intriguing about the interview was how many of the interviewers seem to lack a real connection with them. They haven't been in the same room, so they miss out on the actual dynamics at play. Tamron, on the other hand, seemed to have a different perspective. She really tried to get Mary to open up, and I think Mary would be more candid if she were just hanging out with friends like on those Friday nights with Jen. But since she's there to promote the show, she has to hold back a bit to keep viewers interested. Mary did mention that she'd be willing to chat more if Tamron wanted her to, which feels like a hint that soon enough, she won't be tied down by those contracts anymore. Honestly, once those contracts are out of the way, I think we'll see a whole new side of them. It's frustrating that these agreements force them to keep so much under wraps, especially when it comes to sharing their truths. Some of the other wives in the family have their own views about Mary, which adds another layer to the whole situation. It's frustrating to see how some people felt about Mary, especially when they thought she didn't deserve the same resources as them just because she had fewer kids. They were angry that she was getting money and support, even though she was putting in the same effort and doing the same job. One of them asked Mary, "Did they really treat you like you were less than?" And Mary confirmed it. She explained that because her body couldn't have children like theirs, she was viewed differently. It really affected her and she felt it was unfair. She believed that regardless of how many kids she had, she deserved equal pay for equal work, and honestly, she was right. I remember Janelle making a big fuss about Mary getting the same amount of money in the house budget, and McKeely also commented on how it wasn't fair that Mary had nicer things. But that's just a reflection of the cult mentality. Why blame Mary for taking their money when everyone was supposed to be getting paid equally? If the money was divided fairly, why should she have to give up her share just because she didn't have 6 kids? I get that the kids might feel like Mary could have sacrificed more, but why should she have to? She was already sacrificing so much. Her marriage, her mental health, her safety, her well-being, all for Kody. And yet they wanted her to give even more. The saddest part is that Mary, who was clearly struggling and had been through so much, ended up taking her pain out on those around her. Even in their interactions, Tamron could sense the tension. It's really heartbreaking to see how she was treated as if she was less than everyone else just because she couldn't have as many kids. In Kody's family, it seems like the number of children you have is tied to your worth, which is just sickening. It's like they're only valued for their ability to have babies, and that's so disheartening. I feel so sad for her. I mean, think about it. If you're a legal wife like I am, can you imagine your husband having kids with other women? And then you're made to feel guilty because your body can't produce the same number of kids? It's not fair, especially when infertility is a real struggle for some of us. It's frustrating to think that someone's worth could be measured by how many kids they have. If our jobs were based on that, it would be ridiculous. I can relate to Mary because I have one child, and that doesn't make me any less of a mother. Not everyone wants a big family, and not everyone can have one. Some people, like Mary, deal with infertility, while others, like me, face challenges that make it hard to carry a pregnancy to term. So, should we be penalized in society just because we have fewer kids? I'm really glad she's speaking out about this. I believe she'll be more honest than most about these struggles. Christine has really grown in so many ways. What do you think about all this? You can check out her YouTube channel for more videos. There's so much more I could say, but I wanted to highlight the things that really resonated with me after watching. It's just heartwarming to see Mary and Cameron connect. I'm really glad Mary finally got to express that the divorce wasn't her choice, even if she didn't say it outright. She made it clear that her toughest relationship was with Kody and Robin, since they seem to be calling all the